I drove 900 miles to help my brother move after he begged me for a favor. When I got there, his house was empty. Just a note that said, "Figured it out without you." Later, I saw him in my best friend's wedding photos as the best man. I was never invited. This morning, he sent 16 texts saying, "Please pick up." I haven't. Let me tell you how to burn every bridge in a single weekend. Last Thursday, I drove 900 miles across 3 states, 13 hours straight, only stopping twice for gas and once to pee in a Gatorade bottle because I didn't want to miss a stretch of good highway, to help my little brother, Colin, move. He'd been calling me nonstop all week. "Man, I'm drowning. I have no one else. You're the only one I can count on." He made it sound like he was barely keeping it together. Said his lease was up, that the moving truck company bailed, that his friends flaked. I said I'd come without hesitation, because that's what I do. I show up. I told my boss I had a family emergency. Burned through 3 vacation days I'd been saving. Paused work on a project that could have earned me a bonus. Packed my car with every tool and strap and moving blanket I had. Bought his favorite beef jerky and energy drinks for the drive. Even made him a dumb little playlist titled Operation Get Colin Out. Like we were kids again pulling off some late-night stunt. I was exhausted but excited. Felt good to be needed. Like maybe this was a chance to reconnect. The last time I saw Colin was 6 months ago, and he barely said a word to me at our cousin's wedding. We weren't close, but we'd been tighter growing up. He used to worship me. I taught him how to drive. Let him crash at my place when he bombed out of college for a year. Lent him money more than once without ever seeing a dime back. Still, when he called crying over how alone he felt, I didn't think twice. When I pulled into his neighborhood Friday night, I was running on fumes and bad gas station coffee. His block was quiet. Too quiet. No moving truck. No boxes. No porch light. I texted him, "Hey, I'm here." No answer. I knocked. Nothing. I called straight to voicemail. Then I saw it. A plain white envelope, duct-taped to the front door. My name written on the front in marker. Just Nate. No smiley face. No thanks. Just my name. Inside was a single piece of printer paper. Typed. No signature. Figured it out without you. Thanks anyway. No sorry. No explanation. Not even a freaking period at the end. I stood there for a long time just staring. Like maybe if I looked long enough it'd make sense. Like it might change. My brain was fried from the drive, but something in my stomach knew. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a mistake. He'd played me. I knocked again anyway. Banged really. I don't know what I thought would happen. I tried calling. Voicemail again. No response to texts. Nothing. I sat in my car for a full hour, engine running, hands on the wheel, too stunned to cry, too embarrassed to rage. Then, just to kill time, I opened Instagram. First story, Jonah, my best friend since college. Like, best man at my wedding, knows where the bodies are buried best friend. He was tagging people at a venue in downtown Austin. The next story, him and my brother, side by side, in tuxedos, holding drinks, laughing. Caption, with the realest one. Wouldn't be the same without you. Next story, a slow pan across the crowd. White chairs, floral arches, a string quartet. It was a wedding. Jonah's wedding. My best friend's wedding. One I wasn't invited to. One I didn't even know was happening. And my brother? He wasn't moving. He was standing beside Jonah as the best man. That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not in a loud, dramatic way. More like the way thin ice gives out beneath your feet. Quiet. Sudden. Total. I didn't drive back to the hotel I'd booked. I didn't call anyone. I just drove home. 900 miles in silence. I didn't even turn on music. Just the sound of tires on pavement and that single question spinning in my skull like a drill. Why? Why would they do this to me? Why fake an emergency? Why go through the effort of lying? Just to keep me away. I mean, were we not friends? Was I just a placeholder for both of them until better people came along? I keep replaying every conversation I've had with Jonah this past year. Every time he said, "Nothing serious yet," when I asked if he was seeing anyone. Every vague text. Every time Colin bailed on plans last minute with some half-baked excuse. It was all a smokescreen. And what really guts me, I would have been happy for them. Yeah, it might have stung that they got close without me. But I would have toasted them. Danced at their reception. Given a speech. Hell, I probably still would have cried. But they didn't even give me that chance. They made a game out of excluding me. Puzzle. An inside joke. This morning, I woke up to 16 texts from Colin. All the same, please pick up. That's it. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I can explain. Just a desperate echo of a guilt he's too cowardly to name. I haven't responded. Not because I want to punish him, but because I know that if I hear his voice, if I let him spin it, I might end up forgiving him too fast. I might swallow the whole thing like I always do, shrug it off and say, it's okay, I get it, but it's not okay, and I don't get it. Edit 1. To everyone asking, no, Jonah hasn't said a word. Total silence. I texted him once, congrats. No reply, just seen. I don't know what that says, but it says enough. Edit 2. Some of you guessed it, they're not just friends. I got a message from a mutual college buddy this afternoon. Bro, you didn't know Jonah and Colin have been seeing each other? No, I didn't know. So not only did they ghost me from the wedding, they've been dating, in secret, for months. Let that sink in. My brother, my best friend, hiding an entire relationship from me, then staging a fake emergency to make sure I was nowhere near the ceremony. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel. Grief, rage, heartbreak. All I know is this. I drove 900 miles to help my brother. He drove a knife right through my spine. And now I'm done. Truly, completely done. But I'm keeping my phone on, because part of me wants him to call again. So I can finally say what I should have said years ago. Update 1. So, I answered. I wasn't going to. I swear I told myself I was done. But around midnight, after pacing my apartment for the 5th hour in a row and rereading his last, please pick up, text like it was Morse code, I cracked. I hit call. He picked up before it even rang once. Nate. His voice was quiet, hesitant, not the usual smug, performative little brother tone he usually leads with. I didn't say anything, just waited. He exhaled. Okay, I know. IF ***** it up. I still said nothing. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I was going to tell you. We were going to tell you. Jonah said. He thought it would be easier if. Don't. I cut in, finally. My voice felt like gravel. Don't you dare make this about what Jonah thought. There was a long pause. Then he said it. I love him. That one knocked the air out of me. Not because of what he said, but how. He didn't sound proud. He sounded afraid. Like I was going to scold him for being gay or bi or whatever he was trying to tell me. And that's when the second, deeper betrayal hit me. He didn't think I'd accept him. I've marched in pride parades. I've defended him when our drunk uncle made jokes. I've never once made him feel less than. And yet he hid it. From me. Colin. I said. This isn't about who you love. It's about how you lied. I know, he whispered. God, I know. I wanted to tell you. We started hooking up like almost a year ago. It was stupid. It was supposed to be nothing. Just a fling. Jonah had just gotten out of that mess with Caleb. And I was hurting. And you'd been so distant lately. Distant? I snapped. You mean the times I called and you ghosted me? Or when you didn't show up to my birthday because you had car trouble? You iced me out, Colin. Another pause. Then he said the quiet part. We thought you'd make it about you. That landed like a punch to the throat. We thought you'd make it about you. As if me being hurt was some narcissistic act. As if the 900-mile drive, the empty house, the fake moving emergency, the note taped to the door, the wedding I wasn't invited to, as if none of that justified my pain. Because God forbid I make their betrayal about me. I almost hung up right then. But I didn't, because I needed to hear the rest. You said Jonah was your best friend, Colin went on. But you never really saw him. You made him your sidekick. You let him sit in your shadow for years. And I think he wanted to be seen. I laughed, loud and bitter. So he got engaged in secret and cut me out of the biggest day of his life? That's how he wanted to be seen. Colin went quiet again. And then he said something that made my blood run cold. You were never supposed to find out like that. We were going to tell you after the wedding. We didn't think you'd actually come. I froze. What? Yeah. Jonah said you never really follow through. That you flake. That you bail on plans and talk a big game but never show up. I was silent. Because I did show up. I showed up at his door, 900 miles later, with beef jerky, a playlist, and a heart wide open. And they were counting on me not to. That's when I realized, this wasn't an accident. This wasn't a mishap. This was strategy. They staged the fake move to keep me away from the wedding because they were scared I'd actually come. That I'd make things awkward. That my presence would ruin their perfect day. So they made me the villain in their story long before I even had a line. I hung up without another word. Edit 1. Yes, the wedding is real. Found the venue on Jonah's cousin's Facebook. They rented out a vineyard. Full ceremony. Cake. Dancing. Speeches. Just not my speech. Because apparently, the brother who drove him to college and the best friend who stayed up 3 nights in a row helping him get over his first heartbreak was too inconvenient for their narrative. Edit 2. I'm angry, yeah, but more than that, I'm humiliated. You don't fake a crisis and lie to someone you love unless you've already decided they're not worth the truth. That's what hurts most. Not Jonah falling in love with my brother. Not Colin being afraid to tell me. But the fact that, somewhere along the way, they both decided I was disposable. I don't know if I'll answer again. I don't know if Jonah will ever reach out. But if he does, he'd better not start with, I can explain. Because I've already heard all the explanations. And none of them sound like love. They sound like betrayal. Update 2. I wasn't planning to update. Honestly, I thought I was done. Said my piece, slammed the door, let them sit in the ashes. But fate, apparently, wasn't finished twisting the knife. Let me walk you through how I went from heartbreak to something darker. Yesterday, I got a voicemail. No name, no intro, just a voice I knew too well. Colin. Started with a sigh, then, I know he's not talking to either of us, but it doesn't matter now. It's done. He didn't see it coming. He never sees it coming. My stomach dropped. The tone wasn't guilty. It was smug, controlled, cold. He kept talking. Honestly, I don't even feel bad. He always had this savior complex. Like he was the hero of everyone's story. Like he was owed something for just showing up. I mean, he really thought he was going to be best man? Come on. I've been keeping score for years. There was laughter. Not from Colin. From Jonah. In the background, but clear enough. That's when I realized this message wasn't meant for me. He thought he was leaving Jonah a voicemail. He hit the wrong name. That's how I got it. And thank God I did. Because what followed shattered everything. I'm just glad we pulled it off. That letter on the door, chef's kiss, the playlist in his car. He actually made one. Of course he did. The man's a walking guilt trap. Always thinks effort equals love. Anyway, by this time next week, he'll be completely out of our lives. You'll have the house. I'll have the investment. And he'll have his road trip playlist and hurt feelings. That's a fair trade, right? At that point I was shaking. I nearly dropped the phone. The house. The investment. That's when the pieces clicked. This wasn't just emotional betrayal. It was financial. Backstory time. 2 years ago, Jonah and I bought a duplex together. Investment property. We each owned 50%. Jonah handled the management. I fronted most of the capital. We'd been slowly remodeling, planning to Airbnb it and maybe flip it after a few years. It was in my name. My money bought the property. Jonah just had access because I trusted him. I hadn't checked in months. After the voicemail, I logged into the property management app. Password? Changed. Bank accounts tied to the rental? Closed. The mortgage? Paid off early, suspiciously fast. And not with my account. I called the county office. The deed had been transferred 2 weeks ago to Colin. Colin now owns the house. I don't know how they pulled it off. I'm still figuring that out. But Jonah, my best friend, and Colin, my own brother, have been planning this for months, maybe longer. The fake move, the wedding distraction, it wasn't just to humiliate me. It was to buy time, to finish siphoning out what was left of my name, my money, and my trust. And I almost didn't notice. Hell, I might never have noticed. If Colin hadn't fat-fingered the wrong voicemail contact. Edit 1. Before you say lawyer up, I already did. First thing this morning. The title transfer was filed with what looks like a forged signature. My lawyer's digging in and we're filing for fraud, property theft, and possibly conspiracy. It's going to be messy. But the hardest part? It wasn't the house. It wasn't even the money. It was hearing them laugh. Together. And me. Like this was all one big game. Edit 2. A few of you asked if I ever gave Jonah power of attorney or legal rights to transfer ownership. No, never. But he did have access to documents from when we filed the LLC. Enough to forge things. Enough to fake what he needed. And Colin? He works in real estate. Of course he knew exactly how to grease it through. The betrayal wasn't just personal. It was professional, calculated, weaponized. Edit 3. I found the speech. Yeah. That speech. The one Jonah gave at his wedding. The one I wasn't invited to. His cousin uploaded a video on Facebook, probably not realizing I'd see it. In it, Jonah's holding a mic, a champagne glass, and Colin's hand. He looks out at the crowd and says, "Some people wait their whole lives to find a person who really sees them. Not someone who wants to fix you or frame you into their own idea of love, but someone who wants to build something with you. Colin, you were never just my best man. You were always the right man." Everyone clapped. I almost threw my phone across the room. Because here's the thing. That was my line. I wrote that line. I said it to Jonah 5 years ago, drunk in a bar after his worst breakup. Word for word. You're not just going to find a best man. You're going to find the right man. And now he used it. At his wedding. To my brother. In a house I bought. With money I earned. After cutting me out of every piece of it. So yeah, now I'm done. Truly. I've locked down every account, hired a legal team, and frozen all transfers tied to that LLC. Jonah and Colin will be hearing from a very different kind of best man soon. One who wears a suit, carries a briefcase, and doesn't need a microphone to ruin their day. And if they thought I'd just disappear quietly, they should have remembered. I don't flake. I show up. They taught me to stop showing up for them. Now I'm showing up for myself.